Hi everybody, it's Kathy, and I'm here with part 2 of my Meandering Journal tutorial. In part 1, I showed you how to make the base of a meandering journal, and today we're just going to do a little bit of decorating. I have to confess, I started recording this yesterday and recorded myself decorating one side of the journal, and unfortunately my camera had a problem and I lost all that footage. But I'll just go through what I did so far, and if you want to stay with me, that would be great. This is the cover. I made a kind of raggedy cover using some golds, and what I do to get this raggedy effect, I just cut a piece of 4x4 cardstock, and before I put that cardstock onto the base, I glued all this lace and paper and ribbon on it and then placed the paper on top of it. And then I added this to the front of the cover, and I thought it came out pretty cool. Then page 2, what I did is I cut a piece of cardstock that was 4 inches by 8 inches wide, and I actually made a little pad or a little journal to go inside the journal. I added just some papers, I inked up the edges, I stapled them in, no biggie, glued the back cover onto the base, and then made a little cover so that when you open it up, you have a little journaling space to write in. Going on to page 2, what I did is I cut out a large circle and stamped an image behind it, then added some material that you could see through, and then glued a piece of cardstock that had that hole punched out on it. What I always do when I start my meandering journals, I cut out a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock into 4 by 4 inch squares, so I have them ready to be able to make flaps and covers, etc., pads. And then on page 2, I made one of Carol Tinson's little envelopes that you can open up and write in. Those are fun. She has a great channel, Carol Tinson. It's Crafty Emporium Design. So check it out. She gives you great tips. And let me open it up. We'll go on to the next pages. In fact, I'll open it all the way up. This is page 3. I just put a stamp on another piece of cardstock, added some little gemstones for rain, and actually made a full page cover, a full page pocket here. Used my 1 inch circle punch and cut a notch. The next page, I simply tore some corner pockets. They make it kind of interesting, and glued them onto a separate piece of cardstock. So always, that's my dog you hear in the background. Then here, I simply cut out a piece of tracing paper, and underneath it put some pretty paper, and then made a kind of flap. You can journal under there. Here, I fussy cut some flowers and made that into a corner pocket. As well, I made this whole thing into a full pocket with a little clip inside. And this clip I purchased from somebody, and I'm sorry I don't remember who. I believe it was Caroline's Creations, maybe. And then down here, all I did was glued some strips, and actually I start by gluing them at the top and weaving them through the pieces I glue at the side, and then when I'm done I glue at the sides so that I can still add pages underneath or things underneath to write on. Then here's another corner pocket. There's a pocket here and a pocket here. And as you see, I started to add some color. I try to stay in the same theme, the color theme, which are kind of pinks and light colors. So what we have to do next is I have the entire back to do. So I'm going to close it up. And we're going to start by decorating the cover on the other side. And just as we did on this side, I'm going to open it all up. But this time we're looking at the back. And I'm going to start with the cover, and that's this side. I'm going to fold this up, and I'm going to find a piece here to make for the cover. And what I always do when I'm making journals, I have a list of my journal must-haves I always keep on hand. And what that does, first of all, I got the idea from Gail Agostinelli, her channel. And she has one that has her top 10 things she likes to include in journals. I have my top 16. I don't always use everything, but it really, when I'm kind of at a loss as to what to do in my journals, this kind of, jolts my memory a little bit and gives me some ideas of things that I might not have included. And on here I have full page pocket, front and back cover, vertical horizontal belly band, corner tucks, corner vertical flips, bookmarks, tags, glycine bags, mini bag book, and three-fold envelope, floating fabric pocket, lace trim card, triangle triple tuck, double corner tuck, napkin decoupage, placeholders, and rhinestones. So I keep that on hand. I always hang it near where I'm journaling so I can use it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to get out is my little Teflon thingamabobber so I don't get ink everywhere. Then I'm going to take out some of my stuff, especially my cards. Some of the cards that I had cut out. And that helps me just keep it going. I often use a lot of tissue paper that I get, I think it was by Tim Holtz, sells tubes and such. So I'm going to put this stuff here. I hope it's not in your sight line. Okay, let's see. I think I am going to use some tissue paper this time too. And I have some pretty one. Let me tell you who this is from. It is Tim Holtz Ideology collage paper, and this is the floral collage paper. So I'm going to use, staying in the pink zone, kind of, or maybe we'll make this side a yellow zone. No, we'll keep it here. And I'm actually just going to tear it. And nothing's ever wasted. I save even the smallest pieces. Let me see which way the writing's going. I think it's going all different ways. But I kind of like this being on the edge here. So I'm going to cut this one. And what I usually do is I take what bit of fingernail that I have and I make a crease, and I'm actually going to cut it. Hope you all are doing okay and you're safe, healthy during these hard times we're in. And any of this I can, okay, it's a little, I think my air vent is blowing right on me here. It's hot down, I'm down in Miami and it's pretty hot down here today. And I'm actually going to glue this in. So I don't need another piece of cardstock on here. And when I'm gluing tissue paper, if I'm not using a brush, I'll just use my finger because I don't want these little ridges to show. And then I'm just gonna stick this on. And I'm not very fussy on how it goes. I can always trim it. I always keep wet wipes close by. And I always keep my distress ink close by as well. And I use vintage photo most of the time. Sometimes I mix the walnut in with the vintage photo. And it doesn't matter if I go on to the next one because it's going to be covered. Okay. The thing is with your distress inks, you have to cover them up right away or they will dry out. Okay. Now, let's see what's going to go on there. Do we want a little bit of lace on this side? Not yellow, yuck. Let's see. I have some things here. I have a butterfly. That might be nice. Let's see. Nope. I guess I'm leaning towards yellow today, huh? I wanted a contrast of some kind. Now I know this is going to have to stay flat. Maybe we'll put a belly band with this in it. And for the belly band, I'm going to use a darker color. Maybe just a color like this. And because it's already 4 by 4, I don't have to worry about measuring the height. It makes it a little easier. I'm actually going to put the belly band over to the side of this. I'm going to ink up the edges. And what I need, because I'm going to make this one of a floating butterfly on the top, you just take a strip, you measure it so that it's able to fit around the belly band and move easily up and down. And then you glue that in place. You don't want to glue it on the belly band though. I'm going to glue that in place, wipe off the excess. Okay. Then I'm going to glue the butterfly on, but I want to ink the edges even of the butterfly a little bit. Just to get rid of some of that white. And then I'm going to stick some glue here. Place my butterfly in place. Make sure that dries. I'm actually going to grab my heat gun to expedite it. Okay. And then I'm going to put this through my belly band. Whoops. Sorry, I keep wanting to put it up to my chest. To make sure I'm putting it in the right direction. Okay. Then we're going to place that right on there. Put ink on the ends. And voila. And this moves up and down. I didn't quite make that straight, but okay. And then later we'll put a card or something inside here. Make sure that's sticking. And let me get my, I always like to check to make sure it's not sticking where it's not supposed to be sticking. Okay. And I think that'll be okay there. Now in this place, let's see what we'll do. Let me close up my glue. Okay. Sometimes I have to look at something else and get an idea. Let's see what I have listed here. Okay, this time I'm going to take this card and let me cut a notch in it. And we'll make it a full page pocket. And you know when you're cutting your notches in and you only want half of the circle, there's a little arrow. If you line it up with that, you'll only get a half circle. It took me a while to learn that. Okay. And we're putting glue down the sides. And here. Putting that in place. And it's a little long, so I am going to trim it. Okay. And what didn't I do? I didn't ink up the edges, which I always forget to do. And again, it's okay if I go onto the other one because it's not going to show, but I didn't trim this well enough, good enough. My English isn't good. Okay, and we'll later put a card in there, but we can also decorate this a little bit more. So let's see what we've got. Maybe we'll put a, maybe just a little flappy-do over here. We can use the excess of this one. And we'll just cut it off. I like that flower being there a bit. Ink up the sides. And this would probably be nice with a little bit of lace on it. Let me see what I've got. Maybe just like that. So we'll do that. We'll put a little bit of glue on here. I got this piece of lace. It was actually it's from a larger doily that I found in an antique store. And I think it was $5, but, or $6. But it was very large. It was bigger than a doily. Yeah. And do I want it as a flap, or I'm going to do it as another little pocket, a little short pocket. Yeah? Okay. Next, I think we need something a little interesting here. Let me move this inside the other. There we go. I have a bunch of stuff that I've made that I keep on hand. So let's see what I've got in here. This might be interesting. It's a little large. Let's see. I have a little thing like that. Also Carol Tinson, but I think I need some color now. Let's see what I've got. These were fun to make. I made these off of using cardstock. You just fold the cardstock over the safety pin and then decorate it. So that might be nice. There, it says wishing. Let me maybe perhaps add a base. And I think I'll add a red base this time. It's going to have to be trimmed. I'm gonna make sure I'm still in the frame. I apologize if I'm not. I'm working on this one. Yeah. Okay. And ink up these edges. And actually, before I even glue it down, I'm going to add a ribbon so that I can attach this to it. So let me attach it to the ribbon. And then we're going to glue that down. So I'm going to put a rather thick bead of glue here that's going to go under the ribbon. Oop. There we go. And I'm going to take that ribbon to the back and glue it to the back. And glue it to the back. I could have actually trimmed that, but I'm so lazy. Okay, now I'm going to glue this whole thing down. To this. That brings some of the yellow over. You can't make it, when you're doing these, you can't make it too thick because you'll have a hard time closing it. But you can make it thick enough. Okay, so I have, this is not part of this. I have 3 down and 4 to go. We're gonna do this one next. And the nice thing about the ones on the edge, you can put the pockets in them without a problem. This one, I'm going to continue some color. And I think this is pretty. So, the scrap that I had left over, I'm actually going to trim it here. And trim it here. Okay, I still want to ink the edges. Like that. I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down. And it doesn't matter that there's a little corner that's not there. Never let that stop me. I'll put something over it. And that something will be this funky little pocket flap thing. That actually is just a scrap that happened to be in a cutout in a good cutout good enough to make another little corner pocket thingy, tuck spot. And we'll put that right in. Voila, we've covered up that corner that wasn't there. And it gave me a little spot. And let's see if we have a flower that can go somewhere. Need a little one. I don't think I have any little ones left. Well, I could use one of these little cards. Let's see what we have here. This is kind of pretty. We'll use that to stick in there. Make sure you're in the, we'll stick that in here. And we'll call that one a day, huh? Now I have 3 more. I like the way the colors are working together. And we're going to work on this one next. I actually am going to save this flower. I like this. Somehow we can use it down at the bottom. And let's see what I've got. in here. I think I can stick one of these on. And I made these in a previous tutorial. They're little pocket, little folios. They have a double pocket here with, this one I just put a card with a sticker on it. And then there's some journaling paper in the middle and another little card at the side. They close up with a brad, and I think I'm going to put that in there. So I need some sort of belly band, and I need to cover this back part. So I'm going to cover the back part, I think, with this pretty paper. Cut off that. Ooh, that's pretty, that piece there, but it won't fit. Okay, we'll do this one. Okay, that's not big enough. I want to see what works. I could actually make this into a larger pocket, so this just folds inside, but that won't be pretty. Let's see. There we go. This is what I was looking for. I have this. It'll pick up the red in that, so I think I'll use the bottom one, because it also has the green. Okay, well, there's still an edge. I can maybe put some lace there, some trim, and that won't impede where it folds. Let me find some, well, this yellow lace might go here now. It sure will. And we'll cut that. And we'll put that right there. This type of lace is really cheap lace. It doesn't stick well, so you have to use a lot of glue. It's made out of solid petroleum. Solid polyester petroleum. Okay. And then this one, let's see. Perhaps we'll do a belly band. I need a lighter color for the belly band. So, let me find a lighter color. I have some of this. This might work. That might be just a tad too much. Maybe I'll use this. Then it'll let the colors stand out. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Okay. Whoops. Okay. That'll do it. Yabba dabba do. Now this has to be able to get behind, handle this thick piece. So I'm going to make it rather loose for a belly band. And because of this polyester lace, it's not sticking. So I need some extra stick. And let me put this into use. I'll have to play with this later. I don't want to take up your time. But that'll stick. Okay, and the last two, I don't want to keep you too long. I'm going to cover this. And let me pick out something that'll go with these flowers that I want to use. Ooh, pretty. This paper pad, romance novel by Prima. I love it. Okay, we're gonna make a 4x4 piece from this. Actually a little less than 4x4. So I can use those that I cut out already with it, and trim it. And trim it up top. Okay, I'm going to glue that here, but I am going to make it a full pocket again. And we're going to go down and around. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. I'm down here. And we're going to put this in place. And this one, I'm going to put just right across the top here. I'll add a little bit. And what this black does, it picks up the black from here and picks up the yellow from the top. So your eye kind of follows, hopefully. You see what I mean about these little tiny journals can hold so much. And it's fun. What you always want to think about is it's fun to put in a lot of places for folks to write, because otherwise, and it's okay, these turn into just a meandering book. If you're just decorating and there's no place to write, then it turns into a book, which is fine. But I like to make it a journal. So in here, I'm actually going to put a folded piece of writing paper, probably tracing paper, full page. This has places to write. This has the back of the card to write. This doesn't have a place to write. This will have a card. Okay, and then we need something here. So I want to bring that black down from the top. So So I'm going to cover this. And then what I think is I'll make a double corner pocket by ripping out paper. I always like the way that looks. And I'm going to, I think I might have some just solid black that I always like to use. Okay. And I'm going to do it just like that. Then I'm going to put some pretty color on top of that. But first, let me use that one. And yep. I like this one. Maybe this one will go under it. Like a weird one. Yeah. I kind of like that in an odd sort of way. Oh, let me... Okay. This we have to put up a little higher, so this fits in it as well. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm going to put it almost all the way to the top. Then we'll put this one down here. And you all still see what I'm doing? And we'll put this one here. Oh yeah, I kind of like that. Let me see if I have any cards to go right in there. I think I do. I think this will fit in here. Nope, it's a little too big. That's a little too big. Little too big. I'll have to make some new ones for those spots. But you get the idea. I kind of like the way this turned out. So let's see what we did here. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to close it up. Whoops. Okay. Whoops. This has to be trimmed. I went too far over the edge where it's stitched. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see where we are here. This is the first part. Then we're going to open it up this way. All the way down here. Wait, this is not right. There we go. Okay, that's side one. Then side two is this way, Let me just turn it over and we'll look at side 2. And then I'll fold it as we go. Whoops. Sorry about that. Okay. Now I got it. This is the cover. This is the full pocket. A little sign. We're going to go back this way. It's going to go down here. Back this way. Back this way. Back. So that's the cover of side 1. That's going to open like this. Whoop, no. I'm sorry. It's going to open like this. And then this is side 1, opens like this. Anyway, we finished. Thank you for watching. And I hope you have a great day. And I hope you make your Meander journal and let me know how it goes. Thanks. Bye-bye.